Greetings, everybody. So I am kicking a sickness, but welcome to another video mag, aka this video magazine. I'm going to talk about several different topics. I'm not going to just stick to one in this, and this is going to be quite a long video, so hopefully you have the time to sit down and watch it. And I suggest you do when you have time to kick your feet up on the couch, kick your shoes off, and relax for the day. Or if you're laying in bed and you're just getting ready to go to sleep, then this would be perfect for you guys to kind of just go along with. And please feel free to comment in the comment section of the video as you're going through this video, because you may have things you want to say. Don't wait till the end of the video to do it. Comment now. And if this is your first time checking out my channel, please feel free to hit that subscribe button and the bell option to know when I upload videos, even though sometimes that bell option does not work. But still hit it anyways, because you just never know. So in this video today, basically I'm going to be covering several topics I wanted to kind of just go into. Obviously, I'm going to be talking about my first impressions of the Stylo 3. It's not a brand new device, but it is brand new to my collection, and I will tell you guys what I think of it now that I actually have it in hand and have been using it for a couple of days. So the first thing I want to kind of go off with is the hot topic of the week, Star Wars Episode 8, and why people are frustrated with it. So warning, this part has spoilers. If you have not seen Episode 8, skip. I will have the timestamps in the description area. So if you want to skip this part and go to the next subject, watch Episode 8 and then come back and watch the first part of this video, by all means do so. Now I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet because I can really probably go 20, 30 minutes into this one topic, but I don't want to do that to you guys. And you guys will see while I'm talking with y'all, this is like kind of like a friendly hangout, so I may take a drink or something. I am vaping on some stuff. If you guys are interested, for those who vape, I am vaping on some Jam Monster Blueberry, and I'm also vaping on some Dino Bites from Red Star Vapes, which is a local vape shop here. All right. I'll give a moment for everyone to kind of just prepare as we dive into Star Wars Episode 8. All right, Star Wars Episode 8. Reasons why some people were really frustrated and did not like this movie. And I'll tell you exactly what it really is, okay? It's not so much of the action sequence. It's not so much of the editing and the CGI and all the other stuff. What really kills it for some people, and there's two different types of them. There's the I grew up to the original trilogy Star Wars fans that hate this movie. And then there are those that, are diehard fans who follow not only the movies, but the novels and things like that. They know everything that's canon to the story. They know things that's considered legends. They've played the games. They've read spin-off novels. Those fans, they hated it too. Not every one of them, just some who have expressed themselves on social media. And the reason why really centers around Luke Skywalker. What they did to Luke Skywalker, which is, no surprise why Mark Hamill basically in interviews didn't have a lot of positive things to say about Episode 8. He didn't have a lot of things to say about Episode 7 partly because he only had one scene in the movie. Then he was mentioned throughout the entire movie. If you guys seen his interview, he was talking about it. He read the script for Episode 7, The Force Awakens, and he saw Luke mentioned here, Luke mentioned here, Luke mentioned here, 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 and then at the end of the flick, that's the only time you see him, when Rey hands him the lightsaber that belonged to Anakin, his father. For those who didn't know, yes, it was Luke's lightsaber that he lost when his hand got cut off with his second confrontation with Darth Vader in Empire Strikes Back. So a lot of people think that's the first time him and Vader had collided. They actually collided one time before for a brief moment. And this is, Darth Vader had no idea who Luke was to him. He just faced a guy who was holding a lightsaber, and they had their first duel that didn't even last very long. You can look that up if you want. Go ahead and Google it. But Luke Skywalker's character was massacred in this movie, Episode 8. And the reason why I say it was massacred is because you got to think of what people's last impressions was of Luke Skywalker. So you have to go back to Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. You have to go back to that episode. And when you see Luke in that movie, you'll notice like when he, goes to help rescue Han Solo from Jabba the Hutt, and he first appears there, he is very confident in his skills. Yes, Luke has fear. If people think that Luke completely mastered his fear and he was good, you were dead wrong, and you did not understand the story very well. Yes, Luke had a good control of it, but he still had fear within him. His fear that he couldn't redeem his father. His fear that if his father found out, who his sister was. All these other things, Luke thought of. But in that movie, you saw Luke. He was very calm, cool, collective. Even at the end of the movie where he surrendered himself to the Empire and stood face to face with one of the most powerful Sith Lords themselves, Darth Sidious, and with the fear that he may not actually be strong enough to redeem his father and bring his father back over to the light side. Yet he still, with a lot of bravery, stood there on the Death Star and faced the Emperor. But you fast forward to this one, episode 8, and you kind of just see all the things that Luke is saying and the way he's behaving and the way he's acting. He has a lot of fear. But it stems from his nephew because of the darkness that he sees within his nephew. And this was well before Ben Solo became Kylo Ren. There's a whole backstory to that, and I'm not going to spoil that for you guys. But I could just say this. The idea is that to have, to be a very powerful Force user, you have to be balanced in the light and the dark, which is why Darth Vader was very powerful, even though he was more cybernetic than anything. Imagine if he was still more human than anything and how powerful he would have been. And the same is for Ben Solo, who basically still kind of is a light side user, but is a dark side user as well. And then, of course, the more cowardly thing ever is that, Ben Solo, basically abandoned by his parents because Leia stuck to her duties of being a senator, and his father, Han Solo, went back to smuggling. So neither one, after, doing the deed and making an offspring, neither one felt it was important to raise the child. They decided, we have a baby and he's old enough now, let's dump him into his uncle's Jedi Academy so we can do our own thing. Kind of like, wow, just kind of like how things are today in real life with parents having kids and then dumping them off to the grandparents while they go and do their thing. They kind of depicted that in this story. And so Ben, still remaining loyal to his uncle Luke, even though members of the Jedi Academy were being seduced by Supreme Leader Snoke already, which is the members of the Knights of Ren, Ben remained loyal. It was only until Luke had so much fear in how much power he's seen in his nephew and the darkness growing within him that he says he wanted to confront him, yet who confronts anybody late in the night with the lightsaber? Okay, he could have confronted his nephew like the same way where Yoda confronted Anakin about Anakin's feelings, because Anakin was trying real hard to suppress the fact that he's married to Padme and that she was pregnant with his kids, because that went against the Jedi rule. So they could have had a confrontation that way where they were, meditating and thinking, but no. Luke tried to kill his nephew. That's very cowardly. For the hero of the original trilogy series to being reduced to this, a late night lightsaber stabbing coward. Because even then, he's in exile watching all these things happen just because of his, his fear of his nephew and his fear of things that he can't come to grips with. He even fears Rey and how powerful she is. Now, the other thing to the whole episode 8, which was just so weird, people were like, they killed off Luke's character. And me personally, I don't think they did kill off his character. Yes, it wasn't the confrontation between Luke and Kylo Ren that everyone was wanting. And Luke's character said it best in the movie. He said that this is not going to go the way you think it is. And he was right, because he did not leave Ahch-To. He stayed on Ahch-To. And because Luke was more powerful than what he was in Return of the Jedi, obviously, with the teachings that he was able to do, he did a Force illusion of himself and had himself duel with his nephew until his nephew realized that That's just an image in front of him. Someone's casting an image. And who was it? It was Luke from Oct 2, projecting himself as an illusion way across the galaxy. And by doing this, Luke had drained himself pretty much of just any, I guess you could say, like life power or life force, that he transcended into being part of the Force. He dematerialized. Watching the sunset like how he used to back in Tatooine, he dematerialized. So Luke is gone physically. In Episode 9, you will not expect to see Luke in a physical form. And because of that, people just got upset. People weren't happy with the fact. They were, oh no, they killed off Luke. So anyways, yeah, if you guys want to go check out Episode 8 in the movie theaters, go for it. It's still a good movie to watch. Don't get me wrong. It's not like you're wasting your money seeing it. Still a good movie. It's just it didn't go the way that Star Wars fans saw this coming. So other stuff I didn't spoil it for you guys. So thumbs up. Moving forward, this whole thing with map coverages. Everyone going, well, companies are lying because of their map coverage says it has coverage here, it has coverage there. Listen, look, there are a lot of reasons that play into why sometimes you don't get the best signal with the carrier that you are using. And, to have an understanding, you should understand these things. You should maybe research these things. Google is your best friend. I tell people that all the time. For the way that signal gets out there for mobile data usage, things can get in the way of it where you live at. Like if you live right next to an airport, you're going to experience some major headaches with your mobile phone service because airports can distort signals like nothing. They absolutely can. People just in that notion of just thinking like mobile service providers are going to give you direct internet with no hiccups at all whatsoever. And if you believe in that, you're living in a fairy tale. There's always something that is going to mess with your service connection to the network of the provider that you are signed up with. So keep that in mind. Things happen in life. The bigger thing is this whole idea that the lines between mobile service providers and internet service providers is being blurred dramatically. It is astounding how people can really think that because they get unlimited data from their mobile service provider that they should get rid of their home Wi-Fi and rely on their phone for everything, but not for just, looking on a screen and watching something on it. Like, no, they really want to use mobile data tethering and thinking that is sufficient enough to power smart lamps and Google Home and smart thermostats and computers and smart TVs and everything else. And it's like, no, your mobile service provider is only to provide voice, text, and data to your smartphone and your smartphone only. Yes, you have the capability to tether other devices to your phone when you use hotspot, but hotspot is not intended to replace home Wi-Fi. I am saying this to the entire world. Stop thinking that unlimited is unlimited and you should be able to tether that data this way and that way and whatever and you can give up having home internet service. You are asking to just have a bad time. Your phone data is strong enough to bring data to your phone, which your phone can handle. The phone's capacity can handle, which is completely different than if you were online gaming with a heavy tuned gaming laptop. It's not meant for that. It's really not meant for it. We're not at that point. And it's amazing how people can think and look and feel like, oh, okay, I got unlimited tethering from my phone. Kill off our CenturyLink connection, or kill off our Google Fiber, or kill off, Comcast or whatever. Kill off these things in the house. Let's reduce our bill down because we have a phone that's going to disperse data across the house. It doesn't work that way. I really would be cool if it did, but it doesn't. It doesn't work like that. And because it doesn't work like that, you are literally setting yourself up for disappointment if you fully believe that. Now, I know someone is going to pop up and say, I use my tethering for everything in my house. I play on my Xbox, I play on my PS4, I play on my computer, my laptop. I game on it. I use 200 gigabytes of data a month streaming music and YouTube and all that other stuff. And hey, good for you. But is the quality absolutely as perfect as having 1 gigabit per second download speeds, where it can transfer data of huge sizes really quick? So if you're playing online games, that your games go smoothly, no frame drops and no stutter whatsoever. You don't miss a bleeping thing on the screen. No, I guarantee you can't say that it does that for you every single second of every day. It doesn't do that at all whatsoever. So yes, I think Tim said it best on my other video when I was comparing about the argument points between those that have unlimited data and expect that mobile tethering shouldn't be restricted or governed, that it's unlimited data you pay for, so you should use it the way you want. I know he posted a long statement about it, and I kind of agree with what he's saying. You can't really think that your mobile phone data service is sufficient enough to power all these things in your home. It's just unrealistic at this time. It's the reason why. If mobile phone service was able to do that, don't you think that a lot of the home internet service providers would have been killed off by now? They would have been struggling really hard. You would have had home internet service. You would have had that with very cheap packages like unlimited 100 megabits up and down for $10 a month. It would have gone to prices like that. You still see home internet service with those kind of speeds still go for about 70, 80 bucks a month for home internet service. If you want a gigabyte, it's going to go about 150 bucks a month, depending on which one you go with, whether you're Comcast, whether you're CenturyLink, or whoever. I don't think CenturyLink has a gigabit per second speeds yet, but Google Fiber does. So, but these things, they're not cheap. They're not cheap because there is a need for them. Your phone data does not alleviate what home internet service is providing. So you have to get away from that mentality of thinking that, sure, it seems plausible, it seems smart to be able to do this, and we are moving into a generation that will one day do that, but we're not there yet. And it's crazy to think that your mobile service provider can do this for you completely now. So to kind of close out this video, I want to talk a little bit about the LG Stylo 3. I got it later than anybody else that I know of on YouTube that has already reviewed this phone. And there's a few things I want to say. One, this phone is extremely light. It's way lighter than the Moto E4 Plus. I really am comparing it to like the Stylo 2. They kind of feel about the same weight, the Stylo 2 and the Stylo 3. Where's I think I have the G Stylo in here somewhere. There it is. So the G Stylo is a little bit heavier than the Stylo 3. So I've got 1, 2, and 3. Got them all three. Reason I wanted it, just because, I've had the Stylo 1 and then the Stylo 2 on Boost Mobile. Why not add the Stylo 3 to my collection? I think that the stylus has gotten better with this. I like how you can, draw certain things and just like make like a happy face and just hello. Just these types of things is actually pretty cool. So I really like that. I really dig that. And then it kind of like fits into the phone, so it's kind of cool. Battery life so far has been decent for what it is. I still have to charge it, so it doesn't actually extend me into another day of battery life. So I still have to charge it by the end of the day, but it makes it through the day, and that's the number one thing that I want. I don't want a phone that's going to kill off 5 hours from now and I have to stick it on a charger just to get more power, and it gets killed off again when I go to sleep. I want a phone that can make it from the time I wake up to the time I'm about ready to go to bed on one single charge. That's what matters for me. Software-wise, this phone runs very, very smooth. In my opinion, it does. I haven't had any hiccups at all whatsoever. No frame drops really when I'm going through time threads like on Facebook and whatnot. So it handles fairly well. Multitasking capabilities is kind of there, but that's just, with Nougat as well. And I think the display is nice for what it is. A few gripes that I have with this phone that I thought, that has always plagued the Stylo series, that I've disliked about the Stylo series, is the cameras on it. And the reason why I say that is because the one thing that I have wished that they would have changed over the generations of the Stylos is the low lighting. They do not do well in low lighting at all whatsoever, and that sucks ultimately. When you have devices like the Moto E4, the Moto E4 Plus, the J7, my J7 that I'm recording this video with does better in low lighting than any of these three Stylos, which is crazy. The cameras is good. The image quality is good. You guys have said that the video quality is good, and that's great. But the low lighting, that is probably one of the major things that I was down about with this device. Other than that, it actually does very well. I don't care for NFC. I don't care for none of that stuff. It's really cool that they include a fingerprint reader on the back. And I say the fingerprint reader works very well, as I've had other devices that have fingerprint readers. And this one is, it's fairly good for what it is. It's not as fast as my Honor 8, but when I place my finger on there, it gets the job done. So there's maybe a 2-second delay from when I place my finger on the fingerprint reader, and it gets the job done. Build quality wise, I think that they did pretty good. I think they could have done a little bit better aesthetically with this right here. I know this is where the stylus is, so you have that little cutout point so you can dig in there and pull the stylus up, and then when you place the stylus back down, it's back in. But to make it so that it's not so obvious, they could have done it to the other sides to match it out. This is totally subjective, because then other people will probably be like, well, they did it so you would know that the right corner is where the stylus is. They didn't want you trying to pull on this side by accident when there's no stylus there. I totally get that. But I think, just for me, aesthetically, that would have looked nicer to have it like that. They could have done it where this would have been distinguished. Maybe they could have ridged it a little bit so you know that is where the stylus is. So when you go to reach for it, you can feel the ridginess of the top of the stylus and be able to okay, this is the stylus, I can pull it out, and boom, pull it out. So, those are some of the things that I think about with the Stylo 3. Other than that, was it worth $119 for it? Yeah, it's worth $119. I gotta say that. Nothing wrong with it at all whatsoever. I do like the fact that they've kind of rounded it out, and it doesn't have the dreaded lifted display like the Stylo 2 did. That was my only concern with the Stylo 2, was that the display was raised quite a bit. So yes, this particular device, it's cracked. Can you guys see it right there? It's all cracked there, and it spiders all into the device itself. Still usable. Everything still works just completely fine with it. Stylus. So Stylo 2, the original G Stylo, probably one of my favorites, and favorite designs too. I still love the whole volume up, volume down, power button in the middle. And yes, the power button is in the back along with the fingerprint reader, but the volume rocker is on the left side, and I guess it's subjective. It's whether you like it there or not. Removable back, removable battery, so kind of nice to have. We do have devices with non-removable batteries, non-removable back covers, and that can tend to kind of get in the way. So it's really nice to know that this one you can buy an extra battery, carry it with you, go places, and if you run out of juice, slap another battery in there. Does have expandable storage, so right, you can use both your expandable storage and cloud storage to save things. For me, I am just a little bit nervous that how light this phone is, how easy it is to break. But then again, when people are do a bend test, why would you bend a phone that's big? It's going to bend with enough raw power. If that's durability, I don't know why you need to know if a phone's going to bend. That's just crazy. But anyways, so yeah, it's a pretty good pickup. I do like its video capabilities. So when you take videos with it and you're walking around recording a video, it has this image stabilization effect that happens that looks really, really cool. And I really dig that. And like I said, The only thing I don't like is that it just does a real crap job with low lighting. Low lighting is very crappy with this. But anyways, yeah, so maybe I'll do like my final review of this phone where I really am going to get into the nitty gritty. I'm going to go over everything piece by piece, and you guys will get the full in-depth details. But this is just what I think of the Stylo 3, and is it a good buy for right now? Honestly, to rank the phone, to rank it basically for how it's worked for me, how I've been able to use it and whatnot, 5 stars being the best, no stars being the worst, this phone gets 3.5 stars. And that's how I'm rating it. So now you guys pretty much have an idea of what I think of the phone. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this. This type of video, once a week, you guys will get this. So, and if you guys want to like pitch ideas for the next episode, please feel free to do so in the comment section of this video, and maybe your thought for a video topic within the video magazine, maybe use in the next one. So you got an odds-off chance of getting your thoughts and what you want to watch and listen to actually be in the next video. So I'll do so for that. And anyways, guys, yeah, that's it. I'm out of here. I need to relax because I'm just not feeling good. I took the day off, so I'm just not feeling good today. And my voice keeps going in and out, and I can feel it. It's starting to get really bad again, so I need to go take a break. But anyways, thanks for checking out this video. If you made it all the way until the end, just comment Gorilla's Stylo. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you guys should laugh. If not, look up the band called Gorillas. All right, guys, I'll talk to you next time. Aloha, I'm out.